Good evening, everyone. So we are starting the fourth podcast on career in AIML because many of you are interested and requested me to reflect some light on what's the future holds for that because it seems very hot at this point of time. So that this might be a very apt topic. So let me switch over to some of the presentation and statistics that I want to share because I thought that beyond anecdotal uh, evidence, it's better that I should talk with some data and which I've been able to gather for last 1 week. So let me share with you uh, my presentation for today, which is the career in AIML or data science is poised for hyper growth or its hype. So if you look at the growth of the artificial intelligence industry, it's more than stellar. It's almost 30% year to year, and it will continue to grow at the same rate. So definitely, once the market is such large, the amount of manpower that would require for artificial intelligence market is also going to be larger. There's no doubt about it. And if you look at the salary, and this is from Indian statistics, and below which you're seeing various verticals of data science. For example, within the realm of data science, it can be in marketing analytics, which is people who try to do target marketing, upsell, cross sales, and stuff like that, like who will be the customer, etc. Then there are risk analytic, which is required by insurance, bank, investment banking. Then there are digital analytics required for digital marketing and similar kind of thing. Then there are general analytic consulting. There's also data engineering, the people who prepare the data pipe in the cloud. And then people who write fundamental algorithm. That's called data science and machine learning. So I was focusing probably on the last part of the game because that has the highest salary. Now, if you look at it, even in India, the salary for data analytic is pretty high. So, for example, the senior people almost in all categories are over the core right now, and this is a salary in Bangalore I'm talking about. So, almost all senior people in data analytic with I would say 15 plus years of experience has been able to draw a salary of more than a crore. Uh, Even with low experience, like 3 to 6 years, salary can be very well within 20 lakhs plus. And this is, I'm giving you the current statistics. And then with the 10 years of experience, you're probably looking at 50, 60 lakhs in data science. So obviously, anybody would love to jump into this ship because of good salary, good career growth, quite intellectual challenge it is. But then question is it a safe harbor for a long time? So let's look at it. If you look at it, job growth in data science as a product analyst, marketing analyst, data engineer, etc. I mean, obviously, you can see from 2010 there has been steady growth in every field. Except the most interesting thing that you can see, the growth has been stalled a little bit from 2018, and there is a trend that it is reversing. Doesn't mean it's going to be less. Some of them are going to be less. For example, business analyst jobs are definitely going to be a little less. Uh, but overall, I would say that we haven't come to any conclusion and point to say that in long term there will be less and less job. It's still growing. It may not be at the same space as before. So, who is a modern data scientist? He has to know math and statistics. He has to know programming and database. He has to know visualization. He has to also need to have a domain knowledge and soft skill. And that's why in data scientist domain, if you're a data scientist in risk analytic, you will remain in that domain for a long time because you have to do that. And at the same time, knowing R and Python is not enough. You also need to have a good knowledge of programming and database. At the same time, you should know certain visualization tool as well. So overall, a data scientist need to know much beyond math, statistics, and a few AIML library. That's the first thing. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, that you have to have those all four skill. So basically, you need to have some hands-on experience in SQL or database coding, very strong background in Python, SAS, Scala type of language. You need to have the general theoretical knowledge of machine learning, a little bit, I won't say a lot, and multiple analytical functions. So these are what will makes you a stellar data scientist. Now, reason I'm saying this is because you really need to understand that unlike other job, data science job does require a very large bandwidth of knowledge, multiple language, knowledge of mathematics, knowledge of domain, knowledge of visualizations. If you look at it, I mean, if I compare with the career in mobile or any kind of SaaS career, you are poised to learn 4 times to 5 times more. And that's the single reason where a proper data scientist who are mastering all these four skills are normally paid higher. So these are the statistics that I'm showing you that what are the skills that are in high demand at for the last year statistics. You can take a look and obviously Python, SQL, Spark, AWS are these are the most commonly sought after skills in data engineering as well as data science. And on the right hand side, you can see the TensorFlow and stuff like are coming, which are more like AGI. Now, as the time will pass, you'll figure out TensorFlow and skills like that will be even more in demand because people are generally going into the onboard AI more and more. So the real-time AI implementation is going to be very critical for, I would say, or more or less between 80 to 90% of the project. Now let's talk about the hype part of data science. Is it really hype? So I'm coming to the conclusion of this seminar. Like, what is a hype in any kind of technology? So this is called famous Gartner hype cycle, in which what Gartner shows that when the initial technology goes up, usually goes up, 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 and then it falls because its expectation is high, then it can't deliver, so there'll be disillusionment, and then there'll be they call slope of enlightenment because they realize that they can use the technology somehow to, and then you get into a plateau kind of curve. Now unfortunately, although many people predicted that this kind of curve will be also seen for data science, we haven't really seen that. There was a little bit of a dip in back in 2017 to 2020. If I look at the statistics, there's a bit of a downtime for data science, but it is still up right now. So one of the question will be, is that Gartner hype cycle for any technology valid for data science? And the reason being, the implication of AI is so diverse. And I would say that even despite probably 99% projects are failure, even 1% success in AI is a very big breakthrough. So that is, kind of thing that doesn't happen in the case of other technology. Think of a cloud technology, think of a mobile technology where if it's a situation that 99% project fails and 1% succeed, probably there'll be so much of disillusionment that all the companies will shut down their project. But it doesn't happen the same way for the AIML. The reason being, it is so absolutely needed. Even after 10th failure, you have to try for the 11th time, because if you don't do that, you will be definitely behind the other companies. So that fear of losing out is a big thing. So companies are pumping money for AI even when most of the AI initiative have drastically failed. This is the most interesting I wanted to show you. So, people have been predicting that death of data science career back in 2017-18 because there was a decrease in salary. In fact, there was more data scientists than actual job. But then you're going to figure out that 2020 it returned back and still rising. It's really not falling curve. So even if it's not as hyped as people are talking about, but definitely data science career is still in rising. At least the data trend, everything is the indicative of that. But as I told you, you have to be careful of the fact that there are also a lot of people who are coming to data science from all branches of engineering. So crowd is high, and number of jobs that are being created. If I look at what happened during pandemic, very interestingly, it actually has increased, but not at the same rate as the number of people that joined in. So now, that creates some kind of a pressure on salary because demand supply curve can be altered. But here's the good news about the most of the people who wants to be aspiring in data science. As I said, that skills you need to master is 4 times higher than being a cloud engineer or a mobile engineer. So it's difficult. So even if you want to be data scientist, because it's so difficult, even if there are a lot of people who want to be, you still can sign here and can do much better. Now, I would like to tell you and thank Cracking IT Jobs who are sponsoring this podcast. Cracking IT Job, as you know, that it's a single portal for helping the IT student to excel in coding, as well as it helps to get a good internship in good companies. So I request all of you to look at the Cracking IT Jobs store. That's actually called Pocomo Bookstore in Amazon. That has a lot of interesting IT books. Most is called Pocomo series because it's a very high quality interview question that you might expect in IT and computer science field. At the same time, Cracking IT site has posted a lot of jobs and internship. Please take a look at this. And from this month, Cracking IT Jobs will be starting a coding club, pretty much in fashion after American coding leagues, where you will be able to, uh, practice very high quality coding problem, which will sharpen your skill in algorithm that will be absolutely required to pass the assessment test and other stuff that you need in your IT career. Thank you, and there I end podcast for the today.